is one of the most essential places where we have the opportunity to interact with our guests. We have the potential to create truly memorable experiences for our guests who join us at the bar in the hotel. The bartender who never smiles or talks, or the bartender who never stops talking, or maybe even the bartender who doesn't know what a mojito is, can be the reason why a guest has the worst experience at a bar. The best bartender, however, is able to professionally prepare and serve a fruity cocktail, an ice-cold beer, or an interesting conversation with an air of excellence. Your role as a bartender is often misunderstood by people who think that you are just here to pour drinks. What these people don't know is that you are more like a talented circus performer who juggles various tasks, such as maintenance and presentation of the bar, entertaining guests, and of course, serving drinks with style and flair. In this lesson, we will focus on who the bartender is, types of bars, and the responsibilities of a bartender. Firstly, let's begin with who the bartender is. As a bartender, you are often the star of the show. You have to entertain, you have to be a good listener, and you even have to be an expert at recommending products and services to your guests. Under your cool exterior, you have so many challenging roles to fulfill. Above all else, your knowledge of mixing cocktails and serving drinks needs to be top-notch, and the greater your knowledge, the more confident you will be in serving your guests. A great deal of work needs to be done before service can even begin, such as checking your stock. You always need to be well prepared to ensure that service is successful. Keep in mind that every establishment is different, and your responsibilities may vary, depending on which establishment you are at. Now let's look at the types of bars. The front of house bar and the back of house bar. Working in a front of house bar will have you interacting with your guests, taking their orders and serving them. To be a great front of house bartender, you will need to master the act of keeping your guests entertained while preparing your drinks. Working in a back of house bar is slightly different but equally challenging. All back of house preparation takes place in a designated staff-only area. True teamwork comes into play here, as you will have to rely on your colleagues to provide you with detailed and accurate orders. Remember, just because your guests will not be able to see you doesn't mean you can do what you like. Proper establishment conduct must be maintained at all times in both types of bar. Now let's take a look at these expectations in the responsibilities of a bartender. As a bartender, your first responsibility is drink service. This means taking guests' orders and turning them into delicious and refreshing beverages. A good bartender is able to interpret a guest request and make something perfectly suited to their taste and mood. This is a great opportunity for you to interact with your guests and find out more about their preferences. Mixology is one of the most magical parts of being a bartender, and will have you building, stirring, blending, muddling, and shaking ingredients together to create unbelievable flavors. So what other responsibilities does a bartender have? The job of a bartender starts long before they start serving drinks. To be the best bartender you can possibly be, you will need to be prepared. Preparation is the key to ensuring that your bar runs smoothly at all times. Make sure your workstation is clean, be organized, and know where to easily access all items during service. This will help to ensure a successful service. Bartenders also have to keep a close eye on stock levels. This will ensure you avoid disappointing guests by telling them that you have run out of something after they have ordered it. Lastly, as the bartender, you are essentially the organizer of the bar, and as the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. For this reason, all bartenders need to be aware that they are responsible for not only the running of the bar, but also for the safety and well-being of its patrons. It is therefore important that all bartenders remember two important rules. Number 1. Ensure all drinkers are of a legal drinking age in the country you are working in. And number 2. Refuse to serve more alcohol to drunk guests. To summarize, we looked at who the bartender is, types of bars, and the responsibilities of a bartender. These are just some of the skills your establishment will expect of you to give your guests a fun and enjoyable experience, as well as impeccable service. Eventually, once you have mastered these skills, you'll be able to wow your guests